some stuff's actually working. So that's nice. Now I should go and make sure YouTube is happy. Okay, I think we got that. Put this over there. Good evening. At least evening in my part of the world. Happy Sunday, happy Monday. Because I don't think it's Tuesday anywhere yet. Sneak peeks at the upcoming 420 deals. Be some good stuff, I can tell you that. Baller with a halo and a 2020M. Now that's an interesting combo. Do you know it's lunchtime in Australia?
Is it noon? Like 12?
Or so.
Close to 12 in Australia.
But
so it's
they're like halfway through their work day if you work during daylight hours down there.
Wow, that's so far off. Like
Well,
it's almost 8 hours. It's 8 hours off.
No. It's noon.
Yeah.
In Australia.
Right.
Okay. So 12 hours from now would be 8:30 a.m.
Fascinating.
So it's middle of the day on Monday. All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to 419 too. It's one of those special days of the year where we get to celebrate some of the benefits of baking versus burning, right? Math is not mathing. You know, sometimes math can be that way. And occasionally you just end up with those numbers that just don't want to cooperate. I know that, like, when you're balancing your checkbook, for example, and there's just a small difference that just doesn't want to work its way out. So, anyway, thank you everyone for joining in at this moment in your life. I think that right there gives us a little bit of a reason to just, you know what? If we're participating in this stream, we're probably in a reasonably good place. Probably happy about at least one thing. I know I'm happy that you chose to spend a little bit of time hanging out with me on my Sunday evening. So thank you for that. Do you remember how to ride that thing, Jeremy?
The old vest.
Does it even work?
It's got a
Ooh,
couple
boy, that's
of-
hot.
Yeah, be careful. This is very hot. I should have warned you.
Oh, you
So
can
that-
turn that off too so we can hear.
Yeah. This is that
Please.
old, don't sue me. This is not McDonald's coffee hot. It's spilling on you.
Well, you know that I don't want to get into too many details, but I remember catching an interesting documentary, if it was accurate, on Netflix regarding that whole situation, regarding the
The coffee
the
spill
hot
around
coffee
the world.
at McDonald's,
Yeah.
and it was actually a pretty serious thing, and it took them some real doing to, take care of it, but finally they ended up taking some action in a good way because their coffee was legit too damn hot.
Yeah.
I mean, too damn hot.
All you have to do is press that like too hard, and the lid explodes off,
Oh yeah,
and it becomes a coffee bomb.
yeah, it's just one of those things. You just,
Everything needs update, George.
oh,
Everything in the building
is it
needs
like
an update.
firmware update time of the
It's
month or the quarter or
Firmware
what is it?
updates.
You know,
Yeah.
so normally we've got another webcam that we use for having a little bit wider angle.
And it told us it needs an update.
But when we went to fire things up today, incompatible firmware, so that's just not going to work. But anyway. No, we didn't get to lemonade this year, which I kind of wanted to go,
I really wanted
but
to go. We just had things didn't line up the way that we
it's
kind of.
Texas is not exactly close.
That's kind of what a lot of it was for me.
You know,
is the distance and just the stuff that
Yeah.
some of the other stuff we got to do too. That's it. There's
Oh,
just
the-
other
the-
things kind
there-
of come
There's
up.
no shortage of things to do.
Nope. But I've heard good things. I did hear that I think Jonathan Ortiz broke his shoulder in 3 places, and he's a pretty important figure for Lemonade. So, but he's
Oh.
doing okay. He did a video in the hospital.
Okay.
He's doing all right. But that's kind of what comes along
Hmm.
with it, right? Like,
Well, yeah, when you're flying around,
Floating.
occasionally you're not flying, and when you hit the ground, sometimes things don't bend; they break.
occasionally you're flung, so to
Right,
speak.
that can happen. Yeah. Where's
Yeah.
the funny mug? So that one's at home, so I'll probably grab that either and bring it here sometime, or next time I stream from home, I'll get out the Infinity mug, which still is one of the coolest mugs I've ever seen in my whole life. Are tariffs going to raise costs for 2025M? I think tariffs are going to raise costs for effectively everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see how it's possible that they don't. And it's an economic thing that I can't say I fully understand. That okay, so we're going to charge more money to people that are importing things. Okay, I kind of see some reasoning there. The money goes to the government, which, okay, what are they actually going to do with it? So now
Yeah,
the
right.
inputs for a lot of businesses that import goods, well, their costs go up. Which means, okay, in order to still pay the bills, well, the costs on everything that they then sell has to go up. And even if you're not importing things for what you make as a company, well, chances are you're using goods or services from companies that are, and then their costs go up. So it creates a cascading effect that I just don't see how it can't affect almost everything. Yeah.
That's kind of, I was wondering how that was going to take a hold, right?
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway. Have you tried putting other media in your baller cap other than just the stainless balls that it comes with?
You let me try some of
I'll give you some of these
yes,
cool things.
Yes, and not to say I didn't like it, but it just seemed like the stainless steel for me was like more along what I was looking for the heat transfer.
So, pretty interesting thing, right? You take these, right?
Those cool down a little quicker.
Well, not just a little quicker. It's actually a lot quicker.
Yeah,
because,
okay. This is just me.
Here's the fun thing, right? If we fill a baller cap with stainless steel balls, okay, same size as these, okay, which is 2 millimeters, that cap is going to weigh almost a gram more than when we fill it with 3 millimeter balls.
Okay.
Stainless steel, okay, because smaller balls actually pack tighter than bigger balls. Okay, not a terribly difficult concept. Well, when you change materials, even though these balls are smaller than the 3 millimeter balls and you get more of them in there, this still cuts the amount of mass in your baller cap almost in half.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, there's more surface area for sure.
Right.
It's going to heat up faster, well, because there's less mass, but it holds less heat.
Right. Which for me, the baller cap is more of a. I'm looking for that heat to be held a lot longer. You know what I mean? So that's why for me the stainless steel just kind of like gave me that. And again, it's so interesting because it's like, if you're used to something else or you're used to the original way of doing it, you kind of have to re-envision your way of doing it now with the baller cap, because it's more of a slow, longer drawn heat. It's not the normal process, right? It's a different process. It's a different way of
well, I'm glad you mentioned it that way. It's different in many regards. Not only in terms of, it's different in terms of how you heat it. It's also different in terms of how you draw through it to get the best results. So, baller cap is very, very different in terms of how it looks, how it feels, and how it works, how it's used, all that stuff.
Yeah, for me, as I'm kind of an on-the-go, kind of more of a user, the baller cap for me is more of my actual relaxing. Chill out. Sit back.
Okay.
Long heat, you know? But that's just kind of like the way I use it.
What's in my pockets? Huh. Did I empty my pockets? There's a baller cap in my pocket. What else do I have in here? Got a phone. That's kind of cool.
That's pretty cool.
Got an Omni baller. Got one of my, you like these little plastic containers?
By the way, his pocket's like Santa's bag.
Yeah.
It's never ending.
I've got a lighter that looks like it's a little bit worn because lighter companies sometimes
I like the way that looks.
put paint on lighters, and sometimes the paint they use is,
Yeah, that's kind of.
I don't know if I'd really call that paint. I'd call it some crap that you put on there that is, some of it's still there. So it's
So you're
not,
telling me if the paint wasn't on there, it would just look its natural.
it'd be
metal.
silvery.
Yeah.
You know. I don't know.
It looks so beat because of the paint being worn.
Yeah, and it's actually not that beat up.
Right.
Yeah. So that this is fun. If you've ever seen these things, got one of these in my pocket. And something else that I probably shouldn't show you right now. But doesn't it look cool?
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, what do we have here? Oh boy.
So soon, I can show you that other thing that's in my pocket. Oh, someone got a 2018. That's nice. Oh, more stuff in my pocket. Oh, look at that. The only one that's coming off is that one. Okay, got that. Got a wallet. Got my car key.
From all the stuff you have in your pockets, it looks like you have nothing in your pockets.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
So this is a lighter I got online. 'Cause I've been kind of. It's not like it's a new thing. I'm just always looking for a lighter, right?
Yeah. If only everyone knows how many are hanging around here. The Aldi unique.
Well, you think there's more than one lighter here?
Not just that. I don't think I've seen the same one twice.
Oh, come on. You've seen this more than once.
Oh, I've seen that. I mean, I don't know. Is there another one of those laying around? Probably. Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's so many other ones.
Yeah.
It's fun to try to see how thin they can get by holding decent amount of liquid. You know what I mean? Because I don't want like a big bulky one in my pocket. That's perfect.
No, I
That
don't want a
is
big
so
bulky
nice.
lighter either. And,
It's almost slimmer than a Bic, actually.
Probably is. And it's
like
just
the
shorter
same.
than Unidyne. Which, that's nice. In fact, I think the diameters or the thickness is about the same. So it's nice and compact. Yeah, it can be. I see someone here introducing more friends to Dynavap, which is always fun. Do you like doing that, Jeremy? I think it's kind of fun, isn't it?
It's like my favorite thing to do.
It's almost like sharing a magic trick. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because I can remember back in the day, especially when I was younger, you'd have the cool person that knew a couple magic tricks,
Yeah.
at the party or whatever, and
Gather around.
and
Yeah.
they'd grab attention, and it was like, oh, that's really cool, that person does some neat stuff, or they're interesting, right? Well, now we can do magic tricks, right? We got these cute little tools that, hey, put your cookie dough in here, and throw a cap over the top, and take this oven here and heat this thing up, and when this cap clicks, cookies are done, right? That's about as long as it
Or your
takes.
popcorn's popped.
Oh, I don't have any popcorn, but I did see some cookie dough in the refrigerator.
Okay, that's always a second go-to.
Have we ever baked cookies?
Oh, yeah. Well, we make burger.
We did burger, but I think it'd be really fun to bake cookies. I think that April should be all about how to best bake your cookies, right? Because
Well, you can get like, how much bigger is the cookie coming out of a Hyperdyne than a regular? Is it double the size? It's double the size, right?
it's
So
more. It's all a double.
So you got a big cookie, Hyperdyne it. How can we get a actual cookie-sized oven?
Oh boy.
And then do we have to have a big torch to flame this thing to get it to click?
Oh, for a big
Can we
cookie?
get okay? Can we get big discs? Is that possible?
Anything is possible.
How can
Not
we get the
necessarily
click
practical.
discs about this size?
I just think we need to bake miniature cookies.
I want to hear that disc click. this big.
Okay, that sounds good too.
Does that sound fun?
Banana bread at work.
Like
Hell
a
yeah,
disc the size of my
like
hand.
it. Could be dangerous.
I was thinking, how high could it throw something in the air? Actually,
Yeah.
it's like a potato gun, but with a click cap.
Let's see. I work at a dispo and I work at 6:45 a.m. on 420. You're gonna have to get up early, huh? Oh boy. Metaphorical cookies? No, we can bake real cookies.
No, real cookies. Yeah, it's real.
Well, I've got a Unidyne.
I mean,
here.
should I go get some cookies?
Yeah, there's some cookie dough in the
All right, we're
fridge.
doing
It's
it.
just been sitting there waiting for an opportunity to get baked. I mean, yeah. Yeah. Could have your 420 AM clicks, I guess, huh? Well, I hope your brother forgives you at some point there, for because that's not fun. Let's see if I can make an adjustment here. Best way to turn magnets into paperweights? Put it in the wand while it's in use? Yep. Yeah, the thing about magnets is, especially the rare earth magnets, like the neodymium ones, the real strong ones, they don't actually handle temperature very well. And you don't have to get them all that hot to just completely demagnetize them. Funnel cake. No, that'd be fun. Killed a magnet with hot water in my sink. Wow, that must have been some really hot water, but yeah, again, I know the rare earth magnets are not, they don't handle temperature all that well. But you can remagnetize them because it doesn't damage the material. So if you have a magnetizer or a demagnetizer, you can remagnetize your magnets. It's kind of a neat thing. Sometimes if you need to, say, drill a hole in a magnet or something like that, but you don't want to make a mess or have it stick into everything, sometimes they'll actually demagnetize them on purpose by effectively putting them in an oven. And then you can do your machining work or whatever and then remagnetize it. The challenge is the materials that those magnets are made from, they corrode very quickly just being exposed to the air. That's why they look silver, because they have generally a nickel plating on them, usually a number of different actually metals. Sometimes they put copper on before they put the nickel on to help protect them from the air. Well, I don't know if we're baking that much, but
No, this was not meant to be here.
Oh.
This was just a flat, perfect, like.
oh, look at that cookie dough. Oh, Jeremy, that looks scrumptious.
Doesn't that look great? Isn't it perfect for pressing and dining magnets?
Yeah, I think it's time to bake some cookies. So we're gonna bake some cookies with the Unidyne. There. So you put your cookie dough in the chamber like this, and you put the cap on like that, and I think we're gonna heat this one kind of slow. Give that cookie dough time to bake. There's our second click. Oh, yep. Smells like fresh baked cookies. I didn't bring
Something
oh, here we go.
Oh, an oven mitt.
Oh, look at that. Does that not look like a perfectly baked cookie?
It's perfect.
Come on. Ooh. Cap's a bit hot. So we're going to
Cookie extraction.
take the cookie out, right? Because you know, the Unidyne comes with a built-in spatula to remove your cookies from the oven. In fact, all Dynamaps come with a built-in spatula to remove your cookies from the oven, which is super nice because now you don't have to go trying to find something to get your cookies out of the oven. Got the last little bit out. Look at these cookies. These look pretty good.
Yeah, it smells good. The smell is unbelievable.
It just kills me how, you know, with this device, we can literally bake cookies as fast as you can click a cap. I mean, come on.
Cookies,
take
meatloaf.
Take a little cookie dough, right? Let's try cookie ball this time.
This is our dessert Unidyne. We got a dinner Unidyne that we use for meatloaf
So
and potatoes.
we'll do a little bit lighter bit of cookie dough this time.
Actually, it does expand, doesn't it? A little bit.
Because we're baking our cookies, right?
Yeah, it does a little expansion on the dough. Dip the tip in milk. Oh, yeah. We need a milk straw.
It just smells like fresh baked cookies. Go figure, huh?
And the time, it's just perfect timing.
Yep, this one's not quite as dark, so I didn't feel it quite as full. But it still looks
Some
baked.
people like their cookies a little bit.
Softer.
Yeah,
right?
chewy in the middle.
Yeah, do you want crunchy cookies or chewy cookies? You know, I suppose we could try putting an armored cap on, too, and see, how that works. I think the Hyperdyne bakes really good cookies.
Oh, yeah.
Grab a Hyperdyne.
It's a little bigger. Is there one here?
Oh, I'm sure there's some around somewhere. Oh, actually, I got one right here, Jeremy. Yeah. Even looks reasonably clean.
Got a cap?
No.
Oh, do you have a new cap? That would
There's
be fine.
What's that? I'm sure there's a Hyperdyne cap on my desk.
I'm sure.
But, you put cookie dough and a bit of concentrate. This will be a nice little edible. Yep. Baller cap brownies, huh? All right, now we got a hyper cap. Yeah. Oh, anyway, I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. I think it's kind of fun to sit here and bake cookies with you. I'm gonna get a nice bit here with some kind of a big chocolate chip, but we'll throw it in there anyway and see what happens. You want a chocolate chip hyper cookie? I'm gonna leave a little bit of space, some head space for this hyper cookie. Yeah, that ought to get it done. Wonder if we should induction bake one of these. What do you think?
Oh, induction it.
Yeah, you got an induction heater nearby?
I've been using my torch lit for a
Okay. I've got a couple of wands in that junk drawer.
Yeah.
Sorry to keep making you run around there, Jeremy.
Yeah, like I'm having a bad time. You're just giving me a reason to wheel around. Please don't make me wheel anywhere else.
Okay. Oh, it's even charged. All right.
Yeah, I checked it. It was good.
Oh. So would this qualify as an electric oven?
No,
No?
because it's just the coil. The oven is.
But it's being heated with electricity.
That's a good question.
A portable electric oven. Oh, thought I heard it click. Yep. I think those
Oh
cookies
yeah,
are done.
I guess it's an electric oven, but it doesn't need the electric oven,
No, well,
which is cool.
it's an electric oven heater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just put my wand on cookie mode.
That should be a cookie mode. What's cookies
Let's
like?
see how the
Three,
wand cookies go, huh?
320.
Oh wow, look at that. I mean, you can see that I left plenty of headspace before I put it in. I mean, that looks
Kind
like
of shrunk around the sides
no, it baked up straight
and pushed up.
and
There's
there's a chocolate chip in there. It's gonna be ooey and gooey and melty.
yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Let's see.
Let's check out this extraction.
Get this built-in cookie spatula, right? Oh, look at that.
It's intact.
I mean,
All right, now that's an actual decent size.
here, you want a cookie?
It wouldn't take many to.
It's gonna be ooey and gooey in the middle of the chocolate chips in there.
Oh, it's perfect.
I mean, I gotta make another one.
It doesn't get much better than that.
I mean, so
I mean, it's actually almost decent size. If you could make like.
I think the key here is you take
Make
the
a few of
chocolate
those.
chip and you kind of wrap the dough around the chocolate chip so the chocolate's not touching the inside of the chamber. And by the way, check out the chamber is actually pretty clean. A little bit of cookie residue in there. Now I'm gonna drop this in. Okay, push it in deep like this so there's a little extra room. And we use the wand in the last run. I'm gonna torch this one. Because I like using a torch.
Yeah, I like that torch too. The thin torch is cool.
Oh, I hear it baking.
The sizzle. Oh, you remember
There's the
how
click.
sizzly? Remember how sizzly the meat got? You can see the cookie steam. That's too fun. Yeah, you can taste your cookie. How actually can you taste the finish of it? Kind of taste how done your cookie is.
Would you believe that that tastes like chocolate chip cookies? I mean, I did technically put chocolate chip cookie dough in here, and I heated it until it clicked. It should kind of have a profile like chocolate chip cookies, right?
Yeah, you should be able to dial in your bake with the flavor.
Okay. Oh, oh boy. Huh. That one rose a little bit more. Actually, a little bit stuck inside my cap. I didn't give it enough headspace. So, That's just so good. Oh, on the computer. Gotta be careful. That chocolate's a little warm.
This is how I would cook my meat if I was trying to survive out in the wild. This is all I had. My little oven.
But, you know, that's the advantage of traveling with a Dynavap in your pocket. If you ever find yourself stranded, you still have a oven.
You have an oven.
That you can.
You just need the heat.
You can bake cookies and hamburger and all kinds of stuff. All you gotta do is respect the click, right? I've never used a digger outer to clean another cap,
Oh, I've never done that either.
but there's a little hyper cookie stuck in this cap that I just,
Hyper cookie.
I mean,
if you could bake off like, a good 15, 20 of those,
isn't that just kind of
you
cute?
got like a handful of snacks.
Little hyper cookie.
That one actually looked like a little cookie.
Okay, well, it's all about the cookies, right?
It's all about the analog.
And
Yeah.
I've been kind of a proponent of fresh baked cookies for a while
Oh yeah.
because, I prefer fresh baked versus
Fresh burn.
burned. Yeah, it's never been a big fan of burnt cookies.
Is that contradicting kind of like fresh burn, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I thought you'd get a kick out of this. My
What's
daughter
that?
found this for me.
You got some uranium.
Yeah.
Well, that's neat.
On my neck. Boy, does it shine.
Yeah?
Yeah, and it holds it
A little glowy.
for a long time.
Yeah, it's some pretty neat stuff.
Isn't that
Huh?
cool? She went to something really cool in Milwaukee today. She got a lot of unique
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah, you could put chicken in there too, don't you think? I mean, we put burger in before. There's no reason you couldn't put
I'll test
chicken
that.
in there.
I'll test that real soon. I'll get back to you on the
Mushrooms.
chicken.
You know what we haven't put
Chicken
in there
marsala.
is we haven't put cheese in there.
I can't remember if we tried it a little bit
Oh
with
no,
the burger.
you mixed it with the burger.
Yeah, I did.
Right.
I
We
made
haven't
a
done
cheese
cheese.
burger kind of thing, and it was not as residue sticky. I was afraid it was going to stick in there a little bit too
Right.
much, but actually, what it did was it kind of baked the cheese.
Yeah.
It kind of hardened it.
I mean, baked cheese is kind of nice, right?
So good, like baked cheese crisps.
Yeah.
I think the sharper a cheese is, the better it bakes.
You think so?
I think so. I think
So older's better.
I think so. I'm not for sure on that, but I feel like more of a fresh milky cheese is gonna just melt before it goes to that bake process. No cheese cook though. I'm no cheese cook. I'm just a cheese eater.
Try an extra small cookie this time. Give it all kinds of room to grow up.
You fill up a box. You can have your own cookie cereal.
Oh, what was it? There was a cereal back in the day that was like chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah, I think I know.
What was that called? I remember ice cream cones.
Somebody will
There's
write it on here.
There was a chocolate chip cookie cereal.
Yeah, the commercial was like a robbing.
Yeah, you remember that
dog or
too, huh?
something. Yeah. Cookie Crunch, wasn't that what it's called? Yeah, somebody just wrote it as I said it. Yeah,
Oh,
Cookie
see-
Crunch. And it, oddly to me, as much as I wanted them to taste like cookies, they didn't taste like cookies at all.
No, they didn't taste like cookies at all.
Yeah, it tastes like corn cereal, but it looked like cookies.
Cookie crisp cereal. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it was.
Cookie Crisp, that's it.
Yep.
I remember it. That's nostalgic.
I'm really taking a like to bacon cookies.
George has got a new hobby. He's vaping, eating cookies.
Well, it's just so fun, right? And then you gotta wait for
you
the
know what I was
cool down
thinking, too?
click.
You could make like kind of like a survival cookie, you know, like with like oats, like something like that's almost like a little bit more healthy for you. You could have a bunch of those ready to go, and you could just kind of vap them up, drop them in people's hands.
Oh, your mom wouldn't buy it for you, huh?
Probably for the
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
You mean the little bits of sugar? It's basically all they
Oh,
are.
I saw someone way earlier in the chat, I think, shared their Dynavap with their mother for the first time. So I was like, that was pretty cool. Where was it?
I think it's fun because a lot of people just don't want to smoke.
No.
You know, so if you're like, no, this is vaping, you don't. There's no smoke
Yeah, well,
inhalation, then it's
So that should be
more
still
apt to
a
try.
bit warm. But... Yep. So we didn't hit the top of the cap that time. But just look at that golden brown cookie. I mean, like, isn't it just delightful? Ship it to Australia as a survival item.
Yeah, the Dynavap.
Look, you've got another.
It's a survival
Here,
oven,
Luke.
George.
Luke.
People need to eat.
Luke shared his Dynavap with his mother too. I mean, how nice is that?
Yeah, much easier on the lungs, right? People like don't sometimes understand. You can stop the smoking, still have your favorite things.
I mean, you gotta like the fact that this has like a built-in digger outer to get your cookie out of the oven. And just look at that texture. I mean, is that not like perfect texture? You got some caramelized sugar. It's nice and airy. You know, plenty of time to bake and rise and everything else. I mean, who would have thought that you can actually cook a cookie in the amount of time it takes to click a cap? I wonder if we could sell this portable cookie baking oven on Amazon.
That's what I'm saying. Can we just sell it? You know how they have those survival straws to drink
Yep.
clean water?
So it's a survival oven.
Yeah, so you don't eat raw food.
Hmm.
It's a way to cook your food.
Yeah.
And keep your proportions light. Mine would just so happen to be around my neck.
I mean, it can be.
My oven
You know,
is-
it's kind of got that fondue vibe to it as well. You know, where you get to
Oh yeah,
bake your own
actually,
cookies, right?
Yeah, fondue's fun because you get to make your own food.
And so you could everyone could have their own portable cookie baking oven, right? And you know, just roll up a chocolate chip and some cookie dough and
Or put a little
drop in the oven.
filet mignon in it.
Push it down. Oh, yeah, some cheese, whatever you want. I mean, you can have a whole lineup of, you know,
I can see
your
myself
portable
like layering
ovens, right?
these tiny little slivers of like steak,
Oh, you know
and then
what?
a piece of bacon. And
Before
then,
I
like,
bake
a piece of
that,
cheese, you know.
So I noticed when I was using this wand, it has the yellow light when it's heating up,
Yes,
which is just not as easy to see.
right.
So I'm gonna try and hold this.
This is my
just
favorite
right,
wand
so-
trick right now.
So I've got this digger outer in on the cap of my left hand here, and I'm gonna just try and get that right in between this shiny black part of the wand is actually a sticker. If I get it just right, I can lift up that sticker. See how I got my digger outer under the sticker?
It's a Hardy sticker.
Peel that up. And there's a switch right there. I'm going to take my digger outer and I'm going to flip this switch to the other position. And then I'm going to just push the sticker right back down. And it's like it never even happened. But now the nice thing is, when I go to bake my cookies. Now the light's green. It's just easier to see.
Yeah.
I think it just...
Green and red, right? Is it... When you take it out, is it red?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just those two differences are a little bit nicer.
Bite size, easy bake.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, there's the sizzle. How nice is that? Can you all smell that? I mean, you can see it and you can hear it. I mean, do you like... Am I giving you like a subliminal craving for cookies?
I wonder if that'll ever be a thing where you can like smell across the internet.
Does it change anything else besides colors? On the wand? No. Well,
I mean,
not
the reading.
technically.
Yeah.
If you look carefully, now it shows like a leaf instead. But
And there's only 4 different heating options.
yeah, but the reality is for Dynavap, the wand is either on or off.
Yeah.
So all the other settings on the wand, they're really for the product that it was designed for, which technically wasn't Dynavap, even though it works pretty good. So you can kind of ignore all of that and adjust your temperature by where your adapter is, you know, all the way in like this is going to be a cooler temperature, and as you push it further out like this is going to be a higher temperature. And respect the click. Okay, let's take a look. Oh, there's another beautiful fresh baked cookie.
The smell in here.
I mean,
smells like
isn't it
fresh
just
baked
nice, you
cookies,
know,
yeah.
just fresh baked cookies.
I can. Oh yeah, you get close to it. Really, is it
Yeah.
hyper cookie or cookie dine?
Well, the hyper cookie is
Hyper cookie
what
dine.
comes out, right? Well, we're dining on hyper cookies. And check it out. I mean, it's the oven's not even really that dirty, and just a little crumb there that'll scrape right out.
Yeah, that's
You
fascinating
want
that it's.
You want another cookie, Jeremy?
Sure, that's fascinating that it's not that dirty.
No. I love this. I don't get the munchies. I'm always hungry.
Yep.
Is this what engineers do for fun? I don't know. Are you an engineer?
I mean, depends on your standards of engineer.
I don't know if I'm an engineer. I mean, certainly not in the classical sense. Hyper cookie lasered cap. I guess we could make a we could make a crispy cookie cap.
That would actually be really cool. I was just thinking that.
So it could be a crispy cookie cap and a chewy cookie cap.
And we could put a cookie on the cap.
So, but how do you designate a crispy cookie versus a chewy cookie graphically?
That's
Do you make a cookie that's like snapped in half,
yeah,
or maybe
I was
one
just thinking
that's
that.
bent? I mean,
So they
yeah.
gotta be cracked in half, and one's
Ooey
gotta
gooey
be
chewy
one's gotta be a
cookies?
snap, all right,
I don't know.
and the other one's gotta be like just bending.
Yeah. I got nothing else to do with my hands right now, and I guess, you know, if any of you out there are kind of like me and you function better if you got something to do with your hands, instead of consuming flour, I mean, you can consume cookies right? And then
Banana bread.
yeah, you said you're gonna bring in banana bread.
I know.
You didn't do that.
It's still on the list.
See, I didn't
really
have it.
determined to bake banana bread in hybrid. I think I just want to smell it.
There's that sound. Fresh baked cookies. You can almost tell how the airport functions by the sound difference as I'm rolling it on my fingers. You know, I think I could sit here and eat Dyna cookies all day. And how many calories could that possibly be per hour? I mean,
It's not many.
can't be that many.
No.
I'm on the Food Network. There's a click. Do I think this would damage a cap?
Oh, that's
Baking
a good-
cookies?
Somebody
No.
said they love how their ball vape preserves the terps.
Oh yeah.
That's fun.
So if you look inside, you can see that there's really not much. There's a little bit of a crumb from when I had the first one go. Yeah, it's a nice cookie there, right?
And we have definitely popped corn kernels.
Oh yeah. Popcorn in
Hyperdyne.
the Hyperdyne is really nice. There we go. One more little fresh baked morsel. Jeremy, have you used this in here?
No, I've only torched it. I actually have not done that. That's a good one.
You know, I'm kind of the same way, you know. I tend to use the torch, so I don't know if I can really offer good insight.
I don't
in that
see how
regard.
we can't get this similar results though.
Oh, I'm sure it's very possible, but in terms of the best way to position it, etc.
Right. Yeah. I would say you want to go for that deeper. You want to push that down pretty far.
Yeah.
The cup. If you're gonna be hyper baller, and you're gonna want that to hang low.
Yeah, I think so.
And you know what? Also, I gotta say, I've never had an issue with this falling out, ever. I've never
Okay.
that I can think of. Because even if I've pushed this really low, I've still never lost my insert. It's in there.
It
so
holds
good.
in pretty good.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think the silicone insert actually is substantially better than the glass inserts that originally were for these things. It seems like those things just
Why
soaked
is
up
it?
well, I think the big reason is the glass inserts were actually a pretty tight fit to the standard caps. And you got all that mass of the glass, right?
Right.
Well, the glass, I mean, you look at the induction heater itself, it's lined with glass. And this glass doesn't actually get hot directly. It gets hot because the stuff that the induction heater is heating gets hot, and then that heats the glass.
It's passively gets hot, right?
So yeah, it gets hot through the heat from the other thing that's getting heated. So point being, the induction heater is heating the cap, but it's not heating the glass. And the glass is cold as the cap's trying to get hot. So, and the glass is so close to the cap that it's actually like a parasite sucking heat out of the cap as the cap's heating up. So
Right.
it makes the whole process take longer. I mean, don't get me wrong, glass is a nice material in many regards, but I think that when it comes to the insert in the wand, I think the silicone wins.
I would have to say that I've done the like kind of side by side, and the silicone heats up quicker. It holds.
Yeah.
It's just everything about it is just that little tiny bit better for that.
I don't know if I could put 2 chocolate chips in at once. Might be a bit much. But we're going to try it.
Oh, with 2 chocolates in
Yeah,
it?
I'm going to double chocolate chip this one. Go back to torch.
There's still a preference, I would say. Yeah, you can still have a total preference of one or the other. I mean,
Oh,
I
I
just
think my
noticed,
torch
like,
is going to run out of gas before this cap clicks.
I don't think the silicone is better. It's just different.
It's certainly different. It's going to heat faster.
Yeah, that's about it. I think that's what is the difference. Is
And
you get
it
a
can,
little bit
but the
thorough
silicone
heat
also
faster.
accommodates the armored cap and the hyper
True.
cap.
Yeah, so you can fit the bigger caps in it, which that's
And then you can adjust the depth of insertion a lot more as well.
But if you're having a good time with the glass insert, by all means, I think that's a very good
Oh,
thing.
here it comes.
The sizzle and the steam. Roasted chocolate.
Yeah, the silicone does grab the cap a little bit sometimes. The glass didn't do that.
True. Yeah, I do. My Hyperdyne. That silicone does want to kind of grab it. It's a little tight,
Yeah.
but it still works good.
I think it's important to wait for that cool down click because you don't want to take your cookies out of the oven early. You know, you want to make sure that they're perfectly baked.
Right.
It's not just getting them up to temperature. You know, there's that baking process.
In this case, there's kind of like a down bake, right? Like the temperature's kind of going down, but it's still doing a little.
Oh
bit
yeah,
of
but
a
it's
bake
still hot,
process.
so it's still
Yeah.
baking, right? Yeah. So for Dakota, there's this neat thing that you can do with the wand, right? Where you don't even have to take it out. Take a taste. That way you don't have to worry about your cap coming off.
Yeah, I would just keep it in. I would just hit my Dynavap while it's in the wand.
Oh
I think that's the
boy,
best way to do it.
look at that. Nothing stuck to the inside of the cap. Check out that cookie. I mean,
All right, that one looks.
that's like optimum. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't think we could have got a bigger cookie in there. It's like totally chamber shaped. You gotta like this cookie spatula that's built right into the product.
Doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, look, just perfectly done. No burned cookies. Melty chocolate.
Two chocolates in that one.
So, turns out that you can bake a chocolate chip cookie with 2 chocolate chips in the Hyperdyne portable cookie baking oven.
Which is fun because I don't know if you can get 2 chocolate chips in a regular size one. That'd be a little hard. It might be just chocolate.
Yeah, you might not be able to get the cookie
There's
dough
no
in.
cookie in it. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Sometimes when you're drawing air, I do notice that if you're drawing a lot of air and you're using your wand, the difference between now when it clicks and you need to stop that heat needs to be very fast, because you're already drawing air and you're having this preheat without click.
Yep.
And now when it clicks, you are within seconds from burning.
Yes. So we can talk about a little bit why that's happening, because when you're drawing air through the device, some of that air is going underneath your cap, and it washes against the inside of the thermostat that's in there, which cools it down, which means all the heat that's getting in there is going onto the air, and some of it is actually bypassing the thermostat. So to a certain extent, it changes the calibration of the relationship between the thermostat, which is adjacent to the oven, versus the actual temperature of the oven.
Okay. Because somebody said with their bong, they ended up combusting. And I figured it was because they're maybe pulling in some air, and things like that. Like,
Bell-shaped tip would release cookies easier.
What kind of tip?
Bell shape. So the hyper tip kind of is. There's a big chamfer in the bottom of the hyper tip. You can kind of see it there. But I hear where you're coming from. It wouldn't be that hard for us to...
Like the inside of a bell, right? The curve?
Yeah, put just a little bit of a taper like this on the inside of the tip. Because then you wouldn't even need the digger outer. Then you just go...
It would just kind of fall right out, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you just give it a little puff.
Yeah.
And there's a cookie. Then you load it back up.
It'd be like a cookie drop.
Boy. I wonder if we could make like a production line. Just making hyper cookies.
Making cookies. Okay, so you're talking about like a device that's just pumping out cookies?
Yeah.
So it's going to heat it, and then it's going to drop them in a... That'd be so cool.
Well, you just load it with cookie dough, and it moves down, and then the wand drops down, and then when it's done, it moves over here, and then we could just give a little blast of air and pop it out, and it comes back around to get the cookie dough. Maybe we do it sideways so that, it could be like a little rotary thing.
Just get big thing of cookies here.
Just
Can we let it run overnight?
Well, you automate it, right? That way you just have a never-ending supply of hyper cookies.
Oh my gosh!
Because
that's all we're gonna be eating over here.
I think we could do
barrels
that.
of hyper cookies.
Hyper cookies.
It would be so fun to scoop them out with a big thing, hyper cookies.
Well, that's how we could make our own Cookie Crisp cereal, except it would actually taste like cookies.
It would actually be Cookie Crisp cereal. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Pneumatic cookie puncher. Dinobites.
Banana bonger. I guess we could use a nanobonger.
That's definitely a win.
How to coordinate making more things. All these cool things to make. So yeah, if you haven't tried baking cookies with your portable cookie baking oven, we were using the Hyperdyne here, as well as I think I used a Unidyne too.
What can you not bake with it? Is that kind of the question?
I mean, well, we've done burgers, done popcorn, burgers with cheese, done cookies. We could probably do souffles. I mean, I don't know if it would technically be pancakes.
Crispy piece of bacon.
It'd be more
bits.
like Dyna cakes, right? Because it's not a pan. So, can you make a pancake without a pan?
It'd be
Because
whatever it's in.
right, it wouldn't technically be a pancake. It would be a whatever your cooking implement was cake.
Chamber cake.
Chamber cake. Oh man.
Be like a little bullet.
What's the difference between ruby and steel balls? Material.
Yeah.
You know, the ruby balls are aluminum, crystallized aluminum oxide, which is also called sapphire. But what makes a sapphire a ruby? A small amount of chromium.
So it changes the color then?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So rubies are technically sapphire with an impurity that makes them red. And if you don't want to call it impurity, you could call it an ingredient. If you don't want to call it an ingredient, if you're talking in the scientific and the tech, where just kind of fun little bit, where how kind of a story in terms of how important synthetic rubies really were to civilization, right?
Okay.
Is after they figured out how to make synthetic rubies, some interesting people figured out that, if I blast a whole lot of light at this nice pure piece of ruby, I can get it to do some really interesting things. So if we take this ruby now and we make it into a rod that's roughly the size of, say, a Unidyne or an M-stem, and we cut the ends very, very nice and perpendicular, so they're facing each other very, very precisely. And then we polish them so they have a very, very good surface finish. And then we apply a coating on either side that's very reflective. And we make that reflective coating just slightly less reflective on one side than the other. We then have this rod that, if you place it inside of a flash tube and flash the tube, you get a little burst of a laser. And that is effectively how the first laser was made. It was out of a piece of ruby rod.
So it's the amplification is what it's doing?
So it's the amplification of the light as well as the alignment of the photons parallel to the length of the ruby.
Okay.
So when they pop out the other end, they're generally coherent. Anyway, when I think about synthetic ruby and sapphire, I think about lasers, because back in the day, lasers weren't commonplace. But because of synthetic rubies, they became actually possible. And look at what's happened since then.
Yeah, right.
So, rice cooker pancakes, waffles. Boy, look at all the good stuff. And rubies do kind of glow under lights, yeah. Your dog was named Ruby. That's kind of fun. All right. Well, I think we've covered everything that we intended to cover today.
Yeah.
So thanks everyone for joining in tonight. That was kind of fun. I hope you experiment around a little bit more with
Your ovens.
yeah, your portable cookie baking oven. You know, these ovens can bake just about anything that's worth baking. And I guess the good news is, if you don't like it, well, they're dishwasher safe. Or you can use a Q-tip and some ISO or whatever your typical cleaning solution is, and It's a pretty easy oven to
could-
clean.
You could chop up little pieces of garlic and like bake them and then put them on your food.
Oh, totally.
Think of that. That's pretty cool. You could like get them all hot and bake them and then just drop them on your food like a salt shaker out of your Dynamat.
You know,
Isn't that kind of fun?
you could even like put nuts in there.
Yeah, I'm saying like.
And
you
then
could,
if you put nuts in there, and then you put a baller cap on there, then you could roast your nuts with your balls.
roast your nuts with your balls.
Sorry, I just couldn't resist that. So on that note, thank you everyone for joining tonight.